What happens when you mix chemical engineering, industry insights, and a bit of dry humor? You get the Comical Engineers. In our very first episode, hosts Eberhard Luecke and Stan Spears lay the foundation for what's to come. Deep dives into energy industry trends, innovative technologies, and real-world engineering experiences. And, of course, every episode wraps up with a comical twist. This time, Stan shares a highway sighting that took 2 days to make sense. Intrigued? You should be. Now, let's get started.
Okay. Hello, my name is Eberhard Luecke. I'm the CEO and founder of Luecke Consulting Technology Services, or short LCTS. And I have the honor and the great pleasure to welcome you to our very first episode of the podcast, The Comical Engineers, Fun and Facts with LCTS. And supporting me today is my colleague and dear friend, Stan Spears. Good morning, Stan.
Hey, good morning back, Eberhard. This is Stan Spears. Greetings from East Texas, specifically Kilgore, Texas. It's the richest acre on the planet. So glad to be on this morning. It is an exciting time to launch our first podcast. Good morning to you.
Hey. So in this podcast, we want to provide useful information about various aspects of the energy industry and related sectors. For example, innovative technologies, process developments, exciting new products, services that our clients or partners will benefit from. We target about one episode per month. There might be months where we won't be able to record, or months where we do 2 or more episodes. Depends on, we have to accommodate the schedule and availability of our guests, of course. So stay tuned for that. And you can find the podcast on Spotify, on iTunes, most likely also on Eberhard Radio, on our YouTube channel. And yes, we do have a YouTube channel now. And we will publish a link to the podcast on our LinkedIn page.
So here's what to expect. Obviously, an informal discussion format. It's going to be in the 15 to 20 minute range, so it's not too long to listen to, of course. And we'll give our guests the opportunity to introduce themselves, their products, their ideas, talk a bit about their services and what their world's about and how that can impact the things that we might be looking at, and then discuss topics of interest and share questions back and forth. So, and then just to make sure that you get to see the end, we'll have what we will certainly view as some comical stories that may go along with how to share a little bit about our enjoyment of the Comical Engineers. Don't worry, we plan on changing any names to protect the innocent as we go across. So that's what to expect.
Yeah. So we have a long list of guests lined up for our podcast, and we just can't wait to dive into each of the topics that we have in store for you. We will cover a broad range of services, technologies, and products. We will have guests talk about specific geographical areas, for example, the Caribbean, South America, Europe, Middle East, Asia, and what's going on in these areas. We will have experts talk about specific technologies that they are very familiar with. Examples would be gasification, Fischer-Tropsch synthesis, or plastic recycling, anaerobic digestion. We are interested in a broad range of these topics, so stay tuned for that as well. We will talk about supporting services like laser scanning, 3D modeling, or even sorry, dang, should have had some water here for me. What was hydrocarbon leak detection, so all these additional services. And we will talk about, for example, educational topics like one of our STEM initiatives or special programs at universities. that we think might be useful for some of our listeners. And although we have a long list of topics, please feel free, if you have anything that interests you, put it in the comments, let us know, and we will certainly add it to that list. And we always appreciate and value your feedback.
Just to share with you too, as a group, some of the type of guests that we'll have on are going to involve technical managers, and their backgrounds and what they see in their fields. Certainly executives in our industries that we've worked with over the years, technical innovators, and subject matter experts. And some of those will be part of the LCTS team, and some of them will be from an outside support. And of course, many industry leaders that would participate in our podcast that are already kind of knowledgeable a bit about what we do, and certainly from our backgrounds and our experience in working with them in the past.
Okay, so this kind of covers what we're trying to accomplish with this podcast. And to close out, we wanted to talk about how we came up with the name. And I think it started with Stan a while back when he tried to find a proper introduction when he was talking to people and clients about us. Maybe you want to explain what you did there, Stan.
It was an opportunity for me to explain. Eberhard and I worked together for many years, and when I would talk to potential leaders of the industry that we mentioned, or potential customers, or even folks that we'd already worked with, I would share with them that, oh, by the way, you guys know Eberhard, we've worked together in the past, and just so you'll know, one of my good examples of how to get him introduced was to say, you'll be surprised that he is not only an engineer, a German engineer, but he's a German with a sense of humor. So be prepared for that to happen. So that's how that got started, and it always got a bit of a chuckle for sure.
Yeah, and there are rumors out there that being somebody born and raised in Germany and having a German engineering degree, that we do things like we go into a soundproof room or we go into the basement if we need to laugh so nobody noticed. But that's really not true. So we kind of took that and our sense of humor and introductions based on that. I also started, depending on the situation, if the conversation was informal enough, I started to introduce myself as a comical engineer, which was a chemical engineer with a sense of humor, and that's how we came up with the name. So pretty simple story, but it's fun that, being based on my heritage as being German and having a German engineering degree, that, you have to point out to people that, I'm not all that German at all.
Also, be advised that sometimes Eberhard's humor will challenge you in the aspect that it may be a bit dry at the moment, but you will have to realize that it's going to have some impact to make you laugh. And here's an example of that. As I traveled around, I've had many opportunities to see different things just in the travel process. And I was way out west in the Midwest, and I was pulled over by a local law enforcement that were getting ready to block the road. They were blocking the road for the travel of a large transport from the distance looked like it was a full-size office or house. And it was coming down the road. They blocked the road. And so I thought, well, this will be an interesting video. So I get my phone out, I film it coming towards me, and it just gets larger and larger, and it's on a big transport situation. And so I take a video of that, and I send it back to Eberhard and some of our other colleagues, and I share that with us. And so I said, just another day in the neighborhood, right? And Eberhard responds, mobile home. And I respond back, no, it's probably modular fabricated because it's so large. And so I go on. 2 days later, I finally realized that was the humor. That was the joke. It was a mobile home traveling up the road. So be advised, you may be challenged on some of the humor, and that's what makes it enjoyable. So that's the story of our comical engineers. So.
All right. And of course, this wouldn't be a good podcast without the reminder to subscribe to our podcast, subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Spotify, follow us on LinkedIn, and activate alerts so that you won't miss the next episode of the Comical Engineers, Fun and Facts with LCTS. And see you next time.